Tonight, we're learning more about black mold found in a public housing complex in Burgaw.
Now take a look at your screen right here. This is what neighbors in the Seven Oaks complex lived with for years. Mold growing in their kitchens and in their bathrooms. WECT's Ava Brengord talked to those neighbors who say they've lost everything because of that situation.
They say now they want some answers and they also need some help.
Imagine this, you're living in an apartment for years, breathing in toxic mold, and you don't even know it. We're here at an apartment unit at Seven Oaks Apartments in Burgaw, where they've asked us to even wear these medical masks. And take a look at this, black mold, and a whole lot of it behind where it used to be a kitchen sink.
It's what those living at Seven Oaks can only describe as a living nightmare.
We had lost everything. There's nothing that we can take with us.
It seemed like everything was stripped from me.
Brianna Johnson and Grace Morton live across the hall from each other. Both been told to leave with their young children due to black mold found in their apartments. They're told it's due to a plumbing issue. Reports from Coastal Environmental and Inspections LLC from July and August show significantly elevated levels of mold in some units of the Section 8 housing complex. But that's nothing new. WECT obtained emails dating back to 2022 from the previous property manager noting, quote, black-like substances reappearing in 2 apartments. That former property manager is now the current Pender County Housing Director, Sue Sava. The company that runs the property, Excel Property Management, is dropping Seven Oaks, according to the current property manager. That's putting neighbors in limbo as to who will fix the problem that's been allowed to linger for at least 2 years.
They just decided to cover it up and patch it up instead of actually fixing the problem.
Johnson says it feels like a slap in the face.
That's one thing I don't want to happen, is for it to prolong and, make my son sick, make me sick.
Fearing for the health of their kids and themselves, both women just want answers.
They need to be held accountable for it. They need to find places for these women to go, and that's just that, honestly. My heart aches for other women who have children and don't have a place to go, that live here now.
Well, neighbors here tell me all they can do now is hope and pray that somebody takes some sort of accountability to help them get out of this, what they call, terrible situation. In Burgaw, Ava Brengord, WECT News.
Now, both the property company that runs the complex and the Pender County Housing Director have yet to respond to WECT to comment about that mold. We'll let you know once we hear from them. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. I'm Frances Weller.
And I'm John Evans. We begin tonight with the WECT Investigates report. Neighbors claim mold in their apartments is making their children sick, and they say not much is being done to fix it either.
This has been an ongoing problem for neighbors for months now at Seven Oaks Apartments in Pender County. WECT's Ava Brengord has been following this situation since the very beginning. Ava, you spoke to one woman who says her son is actually allergic to the mold.
Yeah, that's right, Fran. It's been something Andrea Lewis describes as a living nightmare. Now, after several doctor's visits and pleading for help from her apartment complex, she says she's left feeling helpless.
In the bathroom.
This whole vent.
On the ceiling.
Right here, this whole line corner.
Under the kitchen sink.
And I was like, oh.
Andrea Lewis says she's been living with mold in her apartment for months.
I feel trapped. I feel suffocated.
Lewis lives here at Seven Oaks Apartments in Pender County. She moved to the affordable housing complex with her 2 children 4 years ago. But after about a year, her son started having frequent asthma attacks.
And I couldn't figure out why it was getting so bad.
After multiple doctor's visits and allergy testing.
And come to find out, he had mold in his blood.
A doctor's note from Novon Health reveals Lewis's son is allergic to mold, specifically a type called Aspergillus.
At that time, we was finding out they had mold in our apartments. I had no idea all this was going on.
This isn't the first time we've heard about mold at Seven Oaks.
They've asked us to even wear these medical masks.
In August of last year, WECT was there to see black mold firsthand. That prompted the Pender County Housing Authority to conduct mold testing in each of the 40 units just a month later. Earlier this week, WECT asked the county for the results of the testing. A county spokesperson, Brandy Cobb, replied none of the units tested positive for mold. But after reviewing all of the reports, WECT found at least one unit tested positive for low levels of black mold. Several other units tested positive for different types of mold known as penicillium and aspergillus, the same type Lewis's son is allergic to, despite her unit not testing positive for mold at all. WECT went back to Cobb, questioning why she said none of the units tested positive for mold. She claims she reviewed the reports too fast and didn't see the positive tests.
We're not trying to point fingers. We don't really care who's at fault. That's not the problem right now. The problem right now needs to be solved, and that was the mold.
But it's not just a problem for Lewis. WECT obtained emails dating back to 2022 from the former property manager of Seven Oaks, Sue Sava, noting black-like substances. Sava went on to become the director of the Pender County Housing Authority. But when WECT started to ask questions about the mold testing, we were informed Sava retired from her position on March 14th, 2025, just a week ago. After request for comment, the interim housing director tells us, quote, "We're renovating vacant apartments, replacing old fixtures with new ones, and we pressure wash the exterior 3 times a year. Once construction is complete, we will retest the apartments to ensure quality." Meanwhile, Lewis says the mold continues to be a problem, and she's running out of options.
I'm doing what I'm supposed to do on my end as a tenant, as a mother, and I'm not really getting anywhere right now, and it's frustrating.
The Pender County Housing Authority claims it took immediate action after the results of the test from last September came back. They also say they encourage any other residents with concerns to reach out to them. Fran?
Ava, have any other residents of that complex shared their concerns about possible health problems caused by the mold?
So, Fran, I did hear from people who lived there back in August. They say they also had young children and were afraid of the health impacts of the mold. We do know at least one of them ended up moving out because of it.
All right, we'll be sure to continue to follow this. Thanks so much, Ava.